Secara pengrang remcaksua ya video na ya class 10 ni science chapter 1 chemistry video series zona remcaksu thaya anga somairangko manjanya selo tarake video rangko tarina manjaha andiba anga somairangko basako barang rain ba video rangko tarina jotun kainga ya video anching chemical reactions ni gaman rules for writing chemical equation, skeletal chemical equation, or unbalanced chemical equations rangni gaman skir angen. Anga ya daudi videos rangko tarina somai rutani gaman anga notes rangko tariani ko sulanga tarake notes to nikusan explain kana mangsonginga ha. Ya chuninga anga ya kun tisi dalatat na altu batte ma sigen. Nebo chemical equations. What is chemical equation? Nebo a chemical reaction anga ya ko agan hachim gapan videos rango chemical reaction is represented by chemical equation reactions rango maidake one element reacts with another element yarangko maidake represent ka by chemical equation yakon anting da ma siangen a chemical equation involves the formula of reactants ko maidaka ba ko reactants mga explain ka ha gapan video and products as well as the reaction conditions jekai temperature pressure bong na badonga aro reaction conditions heat bong na badong heat kude triangle chonna chindigi mai serong basok ba light pa dong na badonga light kude hv h mu da kisia nagimana as well as the reaction conditions yarang kon chung niangen yarang ko reaction conditions ko dan chung class 9 10 unde bangi nang breja undi banina bano barang nang na badonga a chemical equation can be written in the form of word equation katachi same ba aro number b equation involving the formula of reactants and products ya j chemical equation and formula of reactants rani formula aro products ni formula ko jakhali sega bakon ting jakhalbat ken maini gimna ting ya ko ndake ya formula by symbols rangchi reactions rang ko senagata equation ko senagata jakhala ya nibon ting maini gaman jakhala due to its brevity kan dekata somairang ko bangi nangja simplicity simple bong bata maidake badia element badi compound mung badi element mung react kana altu batta yarang kon chung formula aru symbols rang ko manode number ta word equation a chemical equation that represents a chemical reactions briefly in words jekai oxygen reacts with hydrogen katachi session in word equations left hand side or right hand side arrow de and banana form kangen chingmasia ya gini form kangen hydrogen plus oxygen maya form ka water ndake senagata yan word equations na ganan diban chung maiba ko sa jakhalbatken equation involving formula of reactants and products ya ni formula oxygen ni formula mai O2 plus hydrogen ni formula H2 ndake daudia maidake react kan chung ma sigen H2O maine aselo H2O chung matna ha ya konan chung angya chemistry basics video anching we ko jong odi ni na man gen formula ko maidake sena ta hydrogen de +1 और oxygen de 2 minus ya kon lege valency ko interchange kain ba formula ko de anching matna ha rules for writing word equations ango tise ta latat na rules for writing word equations rules nang ko anching niam rang ko jar kan gen write the names of the reactants ni bimung rang ko anching senangen banana left hand side with plus sign on them je kai carbon plus oxygen nebo ya gini react kaya carbon plus oxygen on the left hand side with plus sign between them yani bo element ke gini ongode lagi plus sign aru ge tham ko ongode no plus setain kuna nangen left hand side to yani nakimna write the names of the products on the right hand side with the plus sign between them je kai tau dia left hand side anga yano biap tongjani gimni yakon lagi arrow saying right hand side carbon plus gede mai ongen carbon dioxide ni bo yede anga iano di yede gasesan form ka again product to uni gimin anga plus se jenga jekai carbon dioxide ba form ka ani chanjibo aro carbon monoxide ba form ka ani chanchibo chanchipe anga ya plus ko sena sanga setanga ni bo ya plus right hand side to nimbo write the names of the products yan products ko Maidake ko products ni agana ijen reactions kai reactants yarangan elements yarangan reactions to participate ka yarangan react ka warang kon reactants ni agana ya react kai mungna gedal substance man gebakon gapen substance man gebakon anjing products ni agana ya ko right hand side to seronga nemen with plus sign between them. Put the arrow between the reactants and the products in order to show the direction of the reactions. Yan jibo arrow ko misokinga arrow ko misokon anting masya iya di reactants aro iya di products aro basa ko ba anting nagiba nakian lekao carbon plus oxygen yan nagimuna arrow siya ko anga yano biap tongjani gaman nagi settinga aro nagi arrow reversible arrow jeka ya carbon dioxide ni chanchibo ya reactants na form ka na matna ba reversible nga ya convert ka agrak na matna nga bako maksonginga ande ba ya reactions mancha de reversible de unja ande ba nga ya reversible ba products per reactants to na form ka pala matna nga bako maksongani sa aga natinga the direction of the arrowheads should point towards the products nibo ya products chipakna point kana nangen ane aganinga yano taptachisia root diba nanga magnesium plus oxygen gives arrow sia nibo magnesium oxide zinc plus sulfuric acid kon hydrogen sulfate ni bagana gives niya arrow ko gives ni bagana yields ni bagana neman zinc sulfate and hydrogen. Lead nitrate plus potassium iodide gives lead iodide and potassium nitrate. Neman yeah, the sign of the arrow is read as nibo to yield, to form or gives yield ya jekita ba na magnesium aro oxygen react kai maiko formed kana forms niba forena mangen ya arrow ko magnesium oxide yano nga mamung ba reactions conditions kon kuja jeka yano de heat ni chanchibo basa ko de HEAT bonggen ya HEAT kon heat ni mai ba negaman yarang ko bange nangjawa da de nibo yan word equations ko seni rules rangko anting da mamang niangaha ya rules mangatam sam write the names of the reactants on the left hand side with plus sign between them. Write the names of the products ni maiba ko ba names ko ba sila nanggen ya nibo with plus sign between them yako jamano anting nianggen formula chi siyosa nambata somerang ko ba taraki ba somerang ko ba bangi nangja yako anting nianggen da de skeletal chemical equations san yan formula chi anting siani ko nianggen jekai dao ya writing a skeletal chemical equations. A chemical equation is a statement that describes a chemical reaction in terms of symbols and formula. What is chemical equation? Chemical equation is a statement ayan magnesium aro oxygen reacts together to form magnesium oxide in terms of describes a chemical reactions ka ako in terms of symbols and formula symbol aro formula symbol and formula a chemical equation is a symbolic representation symbols represent ka which uses the chemical formula and formula ko jakalinga of the reactants and the products formula of the products instead of words to represent a chemical equation katachi siana segija formula chi anting seskainga maini gemen anting ya formula chi sena nanga yanibo the use of chemical formula instead of words makes a chemical equation more concise and brief kandik batata simple bong batata aro useful ba ong bata shorter and faster bong bata nibo mikon magnesium ni siang ong de katachi somai chainga nibo oxygen ni siang ong de the magnesium oxide nibo ndake siang somai rangko cha somai rangko bangina unik man yan chemical formula chi siang ode nibo ching tharake siang jo magnesium de Mg plus oxygen de O2 gives magnesium oxide daudi ya formula ko ching mai ki manha 2 minus oxygen de 2 minus magnesium de 2 plus unik MgO ongjo zinc aro yede sulfuric acid ba hydrogen sulfate yede hydrogen sulfate ne bagana hydrogen sulfate khamao sebo yani ye formula ne khamao sebo ino nambata daken serong bata nigum daude zinc sulfate and hydrogen yan anga ino set na zinc plus sulfuric acid gives anga yano set na zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. Mainnya aselo ya zinc sulfate ni formula zinc de zinc plus zinc 2 plus sulfate ni formula de mai bade charge de 2 minus. Anga wa chemistry basics videos rango anga yani Maidake formula rangko sena anga thari ya ha wa chemistry basics playlist tu niko reangi ni chengbo ma si jang mode aro hydrogen gas. Apsan deke dao ya yan lead nitrate aro yade maya potassium iodide aro yade maya formula lead iodide aro yade potassium nitrate ni bukata chi siuden dakli ruta anga ya symbol chang ya ko dao changse dai setting green chi set na lead nitrate PbNO3 bracket 2 maina aselo yan ki formula lead ni valence de with charge 2 plus aro nitrate de 1 minus une aselo ya exchange kainga ya valence 1 unit rangjok 3 unit rangjok aro potassium iodide de potassium de plus 1 aro iodide de minus 1 unigamnia charge exchange kaimna dekyong anga yano arrow kun degi sets kainjo taude anga agana yen degi reactions rang kun dauni bo anting ya di double displacement reaction songa yede displacement reaction songa anting jamano ya chapter lon porai gen nibo ya plus aro minus ko masi jokon apang nan giskrabo plus will react with minus aro ya plus will react with minus pang nan giskrabo yen double displacement reactions kai onge displacement ka gurke nibo taude let pb aro ya negative I yede minus 1 aro yede plus 2 plus nemen daude yede 2 nina re bajok aro ya potassium de nitrate mung re kainga potassium nitrate minus selo yede NO3 yede minus 1 aro yede plus 1 nemen potassium nitrate ya anching matna anga ya valence khana gatanga ya koski kujawinga jamano anching niangen nibo skeletal chemical equations naganenga nigmni de balance ong kujainga jekai zinc gesa sulfate gesa hydrogen geni ya donginga andi be yano nibo magnesium gesa oxygen geni aro oxygen gesa nibo yede balance tong kuja nigmni yakon skeletal chemical equations naganenga ba unbalanced chemical equations ni bagan gen yano saying the above chemical equation is a skeletal chemical equations mining given skeletal equations naganenga and is an unbalanced equations yan unbalanced chemical equations ninga by unbalanced chemical equations not balance and unbalanced means not balance on the chemical equations that yani ortho de maya the number of atoms of each element on the left hand side and right hand side of the arrow is not equal je kaya magnesium de ge isasan yaba magnesium ge isasan left hand side right hand side aro oxygen ge geni aro yaban oxygen ge isasan no given balance ongja ye zinc yadia balance onga andi be yano nibo lead body da ge donga ge sa lead body da ge donga right hand side to ge sa yedi balance onga nitrate but ge donga left hand side to ge geni nitrate but ge donga right hand side to ge geni nigiman number of atoms of each element on the left hand side and right hand side of the arrow is not equal anga yano de ya formula gata ba agan aptinga nitrogen each element no ode nitrogen batake donga nitrogen and bracket ni kosa kamo apalo 2 nigman nitrogen ge gani in nitrogen batake ge sasan nigman aro oxygen ra batake 3 into 2 6 inode batake oxygen de ge thamsan ni balance ongjejo nibun potassium batake donga ge sa left hand side to right hand side to potassium batake donga ge sa yede balance onga iodide ba iodine badage donga left hand side to ge sa right hand side to badage donga ge gini nigmun yan unbalanced chemical equations. Unbalanced chemical equations. Nigmun such an equation contradicts the law of conservation of mass. Until class 9 no poreha law of conservation of mass is what it states. It states that the total mass on the side of the reactants is equal to the total mass on the right hand side of the products. Yano niya law of conservation of mass aram maiko the total mass of the reactants, the sum of the total mass of the reactants is equal to the sum of the total mass of the products. Yagam ko chandaman jeka yano magnesium de bata 1224 ni chanchibot mass or oxygen de may 16 into 2 is bada 32 badong inga 8 aro 58 tong inga total mass of the reactants yano de may badita chanina magnesium de badita ge 24 oxygen de ge isasan negmen 16 negmen daude 0 1 in hand 2 3 30 san only total the mass of the products is only 30 the mass of the reactants is 58 equal law of conservation of mass is not followed reactions to law of conservation of mass will be followed law of conservation of mass states that the total mass on the side of the reactants is always equal to the total mass on the side of the products equal next page yan anting ta mamang pore nianga chim yakon niang thaina anting niman ha ndiba yaku da siani ko pore ngaina nibo the chemical equation is made brief or concise kandak batata ba simple batata by using symbols and symbols or formula ko jakhlo anting na altu batata pore na gata such a chemical equation is called skeletal equations or unbalanced equations. Skeletal or unbalanced equation. It is a chemical equation. Skeletal or unbalanced equation is a chemical equations written in symbols and formula. Symbols are formula chi segpa equations such that the number of atoms of different elements on the reactant side is not equal to the number of atoms on the of the same elements on the product side. Anting da anting magnesium plus oxygen nibo magnesium oxide yara valence ongja total number of the number of atoms of different elements on the reactant side is not equal to the number of atoms of the same element on the product side nibo reactant side or product side equal ongja oxygen ko nibo jekai da wangai nova setna hydrogen plus oxygen yaba water H2O nibo hydrogen di apsan andeba oxygen dia dik egeni aro dik esa nigum yan dake segapa equations kon mayagana skeletal equations ne agana ba unbalanced chemical equations ne agana nigum dao yako nyangna in order to make the skeletal equations more meaningful skeletal chemical equations meaningful we have to balance the atoms of each element such so that their number is same on both sides of the reactants and products. The equations of form is called balanced chemical equations. Balance balanced chemical equations. What is balanced chemical equations? What is balanced chemical equations ni singa ngode a chemical equations in which the number of atoms of each element is same on both sides of the reactants and products. Yano nga kamao siya ha yano nibo amching ya skeletal equations the balance ka jachim nibo anga jamano balance Maidake balance ka nagta nanga video ko pano anga skiang gen ndi ba yano daw nga adita ko skiang na yanibo balance chemical magnesium or oxygen nibo pangnan la jakka si chipako ni chengbo ya may bako reactants ko badita magnesium anga yano set na magnesium plus oxygen jamano anga namis ban video bas kyang din yan nibo yan skeletal chemical equations ndi ba daw din nibo magnesium badita ke daw gesa magnesium product to badita ke daw gesa nigum ne de balance songjo ndi ba daw de ya magnesium ni jamano maya element riba oxygen ra badita ke daw gini yano ge badita ke daw ge sa san unigum nga daw de 1 chi kao mat mongja nigum daw de 2 chi re bang jok 2 oxygen ongjo oxygen ya ge gini oxygen product ko ba aro reactants to ba badita ongjo ge gini ongjo ndi ba daw de nis ka jok magnesium di badita ge ha 2 magnesium ino de ke sa san unigum daw de 2 magnesium ndeke ong ha daw de zinc kunina ya de nibo zinc aro ya plus aro ya minus 2 minus daw de plus mang yan minus red ka jok yan digi man ha yan zinc sulfate ya de hydrogen sulfate ba sulfuric acid the balance kaini na zinc ge sasan daw de hydrogen badita ge donga ge gini hydrogen badita ge donga ge gini onga sulfur badita ge donga ge sa sulfur badita ge donga ge sa oxygen badita ge donga ge every oxygen badita ge donga ge every ndi bangan indigi sulfate apsan indigi donga ngode ichi bakpa donga jak product chuba apsan donga ngode yako sulfate ko nibo badita ge donga ge sa aro sulfate ko badita ge donga ge sa yan balance onga ha tado lead nitrate ko anting balance ka ina yano lead Pb NO3 2 Maidake ba formula ko siya chung ma siya ha Ki product de lead iodide plus potassium nitrate pangnan balance chemical equations ko sa sena gata changna gata choton kabo lead badita lead ge donga unas kang 2 plus aro ya de 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus ne gaman ya de 2 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus tawdi nimbo ya plus will react with minus or ya plus will react with minus indike anching manna Maidake formula nga ya ko anching ma sia to anching ni nang chung motan inde mai ko anching kaya balance kainga make later badita ke donga left hand side to pa reactant side to ge sasan yara badita ke donga right hand side to ge sasan nitrate kitanga form kainga balance kainga maine aselo uchi bakpa nitrate tonga nigam nga nitrate badita ge donga ya bracket tonga ne nitrate badita ge donga ge gni iti NO3 and nitrate nigam badita ge donga ge gni inu badita ge donga nitrate ge sasan nigam nga inu 2 setting tadi 2 nitrate tonga ha tadi yakode matchuk tadi potassium ko nibo potassium badita ge donga ge sasan tadi ya anga balance ka ani gaman potassium di badita ge donga ge gni onga uni gaman ino ba anga 2 potassium setchuk niban potassium ge gni aro iodide badita ge donga ha ge gni aro ino ba I2 ge gni and balance onga ha tawde option dake ya ko niang na hydrogen plus oxygen ko niang na hydrogen plus oxygen gives water tawde balance ka nibo hydrogen badita ge donga ge gni products to ge gni oxygen badita ge donga ge gni products to badita ge donga ge sasan unigaman ino 2 set chok makhango 2 ndiba hydrogen de batong jok 2 into 2 4 ino de badi de ge donga ge gen nisan uni geman 2 into 2 4 balance ong jok option dake iron kubani bo yede iron 2 ne iron 2 ba ferrous ne agana ni geman da o ya phong ino set na balance kana gata iron plus HCl gives ya mani geman HCl H plus aro Cl minus ya ko chung matna nanggen valence ko matna gatanga playlist ke sa thariya chemistry basics ya ko nibo ndaki mana taude yam yadi metals react with non-metals aro yadi it will come off as a gas nigman taude FeCl2 plus angay no biap tongja ni gaman angan ndaki setting H2 taude ya kon mai na gana ferrous chloride ya ndiba basak kubade ya ndiba form ka again ClF3 ya kode ferric chloride na gana ferric chloride ndiba ya no ferrous chloride form ka minus 2 plus aro yede 1 minus daude valence kosan chung kana nangya iron bate ge donga gesa iron bate ge donga gesa ongjo hydrogen bate ge donga gesa hydrogen bate ge donga ge gini unegeman 2 chlorine bate ge donga chloride 2Cl ge gini chloride bate de ge donga ge gini unegeman valence ongjo option dake dau bathai ya ko anga set chang jo copper bate de ge donga gesa copper bate de ge donga gesa sulfur bate de ge donga gesa sulfur badi da ge donga gesa hydrogen badi da ge donga gesa hydrogen badi da ge donga ge gini unigaman 2C jokeno 2C ham taude 2C ne aselo chlorine de badi da ge donga chloride de 2 chloride aro ye number 2 chloride unigaman you know 2C aton valence onga ham taude next page yade free knowledge for writing a balanced chemical equations ko nga gapan video segen o skiangen ndiba yan anga di takuri skia na simang yan nahan yang chanchia angni skia tarak ken chimo ode video ko tarak kasin natini bo au post ka ini bo aro angni skia kasin gen chimo ode video ko tarak patate ni bo youtube yan namancha uni men taude anching ya video o micro skir angaha wiangaha yan chemical equations konting niangaha rules for writing chemical equations konting niangaha skeletal chemical equations ko banting niangaha unbalanced chemical equations ko baniaha aro balanced chemical equations ko banting niangaha chemical equations ko ba anting niangaha name next video de anting Maidake balance kana nanga heat and trial method kon anting niang thaigen matela thank you